Welcome to this lunchtime news broadcast, which highlights the news making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Here are the news headlines. High corporate tax rates in Namibia stifling businesses. Kenyan journalist assaulted on live television. King Charles will officially be crowned tomorrow. I am Diana Master, and this is Animated One Midday News Update coming right up. The coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla on Saturday, the 6th of May, is a religious occasion steeped in centuries-old tradition. It is the first coronation to take place in 70 years and will be covered widely by media outlets, including the BBC. On Saturday afternoon, the King and Queen will leave Westminster Abbey in a ceremonial procession through London to Buckingham Palace, joined by other members of the royal family. The celebrations continue on Sunday with the scheduled coronation concert, where African musician Tiwa Savage is expected to perform along with British pop group Take That, international superstar Lionel Richie, pop icon Katy Perry, and opera star Andrea Bocelli. Visual News brings you local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with Animated One.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in to Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Getting into today's visual news clips, was Kasinga a military camp? This was the question on many people's lips yesterday as Namibia commemorated the historic event in which hundreds of people, mainly women and children, were massacred. Labour Minister and former PLAN fighter Utoni Nuyoma set the record straight yesterday when approached for comment by in-house journalist Tuyemo Haidula. A survivor of the massacre also shared her input. This follows the debate which ensued after President Hage Geingoob's Kasinga message, which left many questioning whether the South African attack on the camp in 1978 was targeting SWAPO fighters or if it was an attack on civilians fleeing the war in Namibia.
I was there. I was myself a plant combatant. I was at the front. All the commanders of plant, Charlie, you heard him last night on TV. We were all at the front while we had a refugee settlement for refugees that were coming from home so that they could be prepared to go for further education, and those that were prepared to join plan so that they can also go for military training. So it was purely a reception center for our people who were coming from Namibia fleeing the brutal apartheid system. So there, of course, there were a few people who were guarding the camp because we were living in the midst of UNITA rebels. We had to keep a few soldiers to protect these vulnerable women and children. You have seen the people who were massacred there. They have no arms. The lady who survived there was with the mother who was dead, and another lady picked her up. The people are there who can narrate the history for you. We are still alive. We are telling you what has happened. It was not a military camp. I used to go there to collect some medicines from my own soldiers who were at the battlefront. Our front line was here at inside Angola, but at the front, some inside, some outside. So we used to carry bullets, medicine, and all these things in order to reinforce the colleagues who are inside.
I want to clarify to the world that Kasinga was not a military camp. It was a transit camp, a camp for the refugee, children, elderly, who are waiting to go to school. And I repeat, I want to clarify that Kasinga was not a military base. Kasinga was a refugee camp which was given to Nuyoma by Agustin Neto at the time when he was a president. Please. No training took place. It was a purely a camp for refugees, for children, elderly, and mothers who are pregnant, and children who are waiting to go to school.
Now, former Cabinet Minister Benato Sau says he still has hopes of returning to Parliament in future. Namibian Sun has the full story after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Thank you for staying with Animation One. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Former Cabinet Minister Benato Sau says he still has hopes of returning to Parliament in future despite the corruption cloud that hangs over his head. The former Fisheries Minister made these remarks earlier this week when he testified during his bail application in the Windhoek High Court, where he also denied bribery claims leveled against him, telling High Court Judge David Munsu that he does not touch things that don't belong to me. During his testimony, the trade unionist cum politician expressed his hope of becoming a member of Parliament again. I may go back to Parliament, he said. Moving over to Namibian Sun's page 3, only 33% of Namibians believe that the police often or always operate in a professional manner and respect all citizens' rights, an Afrobarometer survey has found. Overall, the fact that only a minority think the police generally operate in a professional manner and respect the rights of all citizens suggests remaining challenges for force intent on enforcing and modeling respect for law and order, the report states. The Afrobarometer report, titled Namibians See Police Falling Short of Professional Conduct and Respect for Citizens' Rights, reports on survey results that show a growing number of Namibians feel unsafe in their homes and neighborhoods and think government needs to do a better job of reducing crime. According to Republican, earlier this week, the Namibia Organic Association objected in a letter to Namibia's Biosafety Board against an application by AGRA to import GMO products for food and animal feed purposes. In the letter to the Biosafety Board, which is located within the National Council for Research, Science and Technology, NOAA strongly opposes the use of genetically modified organisms in Namibian agriculture in any form. AGRA's Senior Marketing Manager, Christelmaine Stroh, meanwhile, responded by saying that such an application is standard practice in terms of the Biosafety Act of 2006. Onto the paper's page 3. After years of trying to gain the upper hand in the war against drug abuse in this town, Rehoboth's town council and the Namibian police decided to join forces. As a result, a drug unit was established and the town declared that no more substance abuse would be tolerated. The council has made available an office that the unit can use in their efforts to curb the drug problem, and during a recent event, Rehoboth's Mayor Amanda Groenewald gave a key to this office to Inspector General of Nampol, Lieutenant General Joseph Shikongo. Algemeine Zeitung in today's edition leads with press freedom, reporting that Namibia continues to top the ranking in Africa. Measured globally, Namibia has been pushed down from 18th to 22nd place. In Southern Africa, MISA recognizes approaching challenges, but the RSF grade was generally better. But it should be noted that Namibia did not score worse, as last year Namibia was graded 81.84% and this year it received a score of 80.91%. Onto the paper's page 3. After a study found that mining had damaged an archaeological site, the Monuments Council asked the ministry to withdraw the mining license and environmental impact certificates. In relation to that, the Windhoek High Court recently handed down a judgment in a case in which Mr. Ekungungu, a mining license holder, had sought an injunction against the National Heritage Board of Namibia. After the break, we continue with our newspaper review. Stay tuned.
to another exciting episode of Irongo Talk. Jou is weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
Getting into the second half of our newspaper review, the Namibian newspaper reports that the family of the alleged robbery suspects killed by police officers in Okahanja claims he received death threats from the police. The police only released a report on the incident on Tuesday, a week after the 5 men were gunned down. Reacting to the death threat claims by the Andreas family, Police Deputy Commissioner Kauna Shikwambi yesterday said the police can only confirm an allegation when a police case has been opened. A cousin of Andreas, who prefers to remain anonymous, stated that the family is unhappy in which the police had arrested the suspected robbers, instead adding that the family is consulting a lawyer and plans to open a case against the police. He insists that this was a planned murder. Former Fisheries and Marine Resources Minister Bina Dusau says it would be improper for a political party without fishing rights in Namibia to be allocated a fishing quota or to receive benefits from a quota. Dusau said this when he continued to testify in support of his application to be granted bail in the Windhoek High Court on Wednesday. Moving on to New Era, affirmative repositioning movement leader Job Amupanda does not only dream of becoming Namibia's fourth democratically elected president, he has in fact already started preparing his acceptance speech. But becoming the main occupant of 1 Engelberg Street, Osblik, appears to be an uphill task. If coalition attempts between opposition parties in the Windhoek Municipal Council serve as a dress rehearsal, the electorate can expect an even more crowded presidential race as attempts to unite the opposition under one candidate against SWAPO's Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah looks like it will not materialize. Amupanda is not the only hopeful in the race, made more interesting by the performance of Panduleni Itula in the last presidential race. Some Otweya residents who received houses after the devastating shack fire that left 174 Twaloloka families homeless are allegedly at risk of losing their homes. Irregularities were detected during the allocation process, resulting in some people receiving houses while they were not on the initial beneficiary list of the fire victims. Irongo Governor Neville Andre confirmed the latest development to New Era on Tuesday. Moving over to Market Watch, Namibia's recent oil and gas discoveries present a transformational opportunity to shift the country's economic structure and increase foreign reserves and transform the country into a major player within the regional energy market. However, this will only be possible if the country invests in local workforce development and ensures that it intentionally empowers Namibians to be active participants in the industry rather than passive spectators. These remarks were made by the Governor of the Bank of Namibia, Johannes Gouwhab, at the 5th edition of the Namibia International Energy Conference held under the theme Shaping the Future of Energy Towards Value Creation. Now, Namibia's high corporate tax rate could hinder the growth of small and medium enterprises. More details coming up in economic news after the break.
Discover the breathtaking beauty of Namibia with Tourismus, a captivating program that uncovers the country's diverse landscapes, wildlife, and cultural experiences. Featuring insightful interviews with tourism experts, each episode takes you on a mesmerizing journey, exploring Namibia's majestic sand dunes, vibrant wildlife, and unique attractions. Watch Tourismus on NTV, Saturdays at 20:30 in German, and Sundays at 6 p.m. in English, for a heartwarming and unforgettable adventure.
Starting off our economic news this afternoon, economists have voiced concerns that Namibia's high corporate tax rate could hinder the growth of small and medium enterprises and startup businesses. The tax rate, which is currently 32%, has also been found to be high by both regional and global standards. Weighing in on the matter, Cirrus Capital equity analyst Adrian Glazer said the rate poses a barrier to job creation. Namibia's corporate tax is high by both regional and global standards. This serves as a material barrier to the success of small small enterprises and job creation in Namibia, particularly given the operating environment of the last 8 years, Glazer said. The recent announcement by Finance Minister Ipumbushimi over a reduction in the corporate tax rate was a positive development, he said. Namibia is expected to reduce the tax rate over the medium-term expenditure framework period. It is positive to see that there has been some shift in the approach to tax policy, particularly the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises' commitment to reducing the corporate tax rate to 31% in 2024 and 30% in 2025, he said. Stick around, we'll be back with news from Africa after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
We now expand to the rest of the continent, and later we'll bring you international news from the rest of the globe. South Africa National Police Commissioner General Fanny Masemola has issued a public apology to the victims of the Krugersdorp attack, where 8 women were raped in July 2022. The apology from the authorities follows the public release of personal information of the 8 women that included their names and surnames, age and physical addresses. The personal information of the victims were disclosed on the police WhatsApp groups, which found its way to social media. The South Africa Police Service regrets the disclosure of such personal information and apologizes to the victims for the information breach and the hardship caused as a result. Following the incident, General Masemola ordered an internal departmental investigation into the matter. The final report after conclusion of the investigation found that indeed the personal information of victims was released inappropriately, but no ill intent was found. The assault on a radio presenter during a live broadcast has been greeted by outrage in Ghana. While the rest of the world celebrated World Press Freedom Day, Abubakari Sadiq Gariba, a broadcaster at Dagbon FM in the northern city of Tamale, was live on air on Wednesday when 2 men stormed into the studio and seized him by the neck. They threatened to slap him if he made any comment. The presenter then walked out of the studio with the 2 attackers. Gariba has told the BBC he is fine, but a heated argument continued outside the studio. He said one of the men was a regular panelist on his show. The man, a local politician, was upset about Gariba's perceived criticism of his view on a chieftaincy dispute at the area, according to the presenter. The 2 attackers involved have not commented. Video of the incident has been circulating on social media, raising questions about Ghana's recent record on press freedom. Former President John Mahama has urged the government to create a more favorable environment for journalists. Stick around, we'll be right back with international news. Chinese Ambassador Kong Pei-wu on Thursday denied a Beijing official targeted a Canadian lawmaker and his family for his anti-China stance and denounced Ottawa's statement that it was considering expelling a Chinese diplomat. Canada's Foreign Minister Melanie Joy earlier said she was assessing different options, including the expulsion of diplomats. Conservative Member of Parliament Michael Chong in 2021 sponsored a successful motion that declared China's treatment of its Uyghur Muslim minority genocide. Canada's Globe and Mail newspaper, citing a Canadian intelligence report from 2021 on Monday, said China sought information about Chong and his family in China in a likely effort to make an example of him and deter others from taking anti-PRC position using an acronym for China's official name. Kong, who was summoned by a senior Canadian Foreign Ministry official on Thursday, said he protested strongly against a threat to expel a Chinese diplomat because of rumors of the so-called China interference. China strongly urges the Canadian side to immediately stop this self-directed political farce, Kong said in a statement posted on the embassy's website, adding Canada should not go further down the wrong and dangerous path. Getting into our next story, 8 people were killed and 14 wounded in Serbia's second mass shooting in 2 days, and a suspect was arrested, authorities said on Friday, causing horror in a nation that had just started 3 days of mourning for victims of the first shootings. The latest incident occurred late on Thursday in the village of Dubona, 42 kilometers south of Belgrade, authorities said. State broadcaster RTS said the suspect, a young man, had been involved in an altercation in a schoolyard. He left and then returned with an assault rifle and a handgun, opened fire and continued to shoot at people at random from a moving car. The suspect, UB, born in 2002, has been apprehended in the vicinity of the city of Kragujevac. He is suspected of killing 8 people and wounding 14 overnight, Serbia's Interior Ministry said in a statement. An investigation was ongoing. An off-duty policeman and his sister were among those killed, RTS reported. Police used a helicopter, drones and multiple police patrols to hunt down the suspect. After the break, we get into our local sports news.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in to Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Diving into our local sports news, Namibian swimmers are making waves at the Canna Zone 14 Swimming Championships. On the first day of the competition, they collected an impressive 24 medals, including 9 gold, 8 silver and 7 bronze. Marathon runner Helalia Johannes did a short sprint in the capital, Independence Avenue, this morning as she gears to take on the NWR Marathon on 27 May. She will attempt to break the record. We'll now take a quick ad break and return with our international sports news.
Discover the breathtaking beauty of Namibia with Tourismus, a captivating program that uncovers the country's diverse landscapes, wildlife, and cultural experiences. Featuring insightful interviews with tourism experts, each episode takes you on a mesmerizing journey, exploring Namibia's majestic sand dunes, vibrant wildlife, and unique attractions. Watch Tourismus on NTV, Saturdays at 20:30 in German, and Sundays at 6 p.m. in English, for a heartwarming and unforgettable adventure.
In international sports this afternoon, Napoli won their 3rd Serie A title and their first in 33 years on Thursday after a 1-1 draw at Udinese gave the Naples side an unassailable lead in the standings. A second-half goal by Victor Osimhen secured Napoli the title with 5 games remaining in the season. Late McAllister penalty gave Brighton a win over Manchester United. Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder Alexis McAllister fired the winner from the penalty spot deep into stoppage time to snatch a 1-0 win for his side over Manchester United in a pulsating Premier League clash on Thursday. The defeat leaves Erik ten Hag's side in 4th place on 63 points, 4 ahead of 5th place Liverpool, but with a game in hand over their Merseyside rivals, while Brighton move up to 6th on 55 points. 7-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton says the sport must do better to create tighter competition amid fears that Red Bull's domination could result in boredom. Red Bull's Max Verstappen, winner of the past 2 championships, leads the drivers' standings after splitting the opening 4 races of the season with teammate Sergio Perez. If you're just joining us, this is Animated One, and we will get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this. But first, Michael Kayunde shares what's to and trending on the social calendar with the Weekend Gig Guide.
Michael Kayunde, I'm back on your TV screens to give you guys a lowdown of some of the events you can catch this weekend. To start with, you can catch that is Chill Sessions. That is tonight on Namibian Sun's Facebook page at 7 o'clock. That's where I get to take you in and around the country, showcasing you the music videos that are trending for the week. Moving along with other events that you can still catch this weekend, you can catch that as the open season taking place right here at Namibian Sun offices in Eros. That's a show where we get to chill and hang around. It's a daytime event. Gates open at 1 o'clock and gates open at 9 o'clock in the evening. So please come through and support your boys. Open season as well as Namibian Sun. Tickets are available through my e-ticket. We are currently running a special where you can get a ticket for $80, but if you don't get the ticket, you have to end up paying $100 at the door tomorrow. So please make sure that you get the ticket for $80. That is today on my e-ticket. And lastly, you can catch that is the drag night taking place. That is tomorrow at the Loft, as well as a fashion week also for the same event at the Loft, where Melissa Polton is going to be unveiling a new collection. That is taking place at the Loft tomorrow. Tickets are available via web tickets. Those are some of the events you can catch this weekend. From me, Michael, until next time, it's bye-bye.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
You're still watching Animated One, and if you're just joining us, here are the news highlights from today's broadcast. The assault on a radio presenter during a live broadcast has been greeted by outrage in Ghana. Abubakari Sadiq Gariba, a broadcaster at Dagbon FM in the northern city of Tamale, was live on air on Wednesday when two men stormed into the studio and seized him by the neck. Chinese Ambassador Kong Pei-Wu on Thursday denied a Beijing official targeted a Canadian lawmaker and his family for his anti-China stance and denounced Ottawa's statement that it was considering expelling a Chinese diplomat. In sports, Namibian swimmers are making waves at the Canada Zone 4 Swimming Championships. On the first day of the competition, they collected an impressive 24 medals, including 9 gold, 8 silver and 7 bronze. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with Animated One, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa, and the world, ranging from current affairs, economic news, sports, and international headlines. It's goodbye from us in studio, and we wish you a lovely weekend ahead.